Hi, you've reached Prophetess Chastity Daniel with the Prophetess Thought of the Day. It is not a coincidence. So, I want to talk about something that I really don't talk about too often. Um, you'll hear so many prophets, prophetess, you know, oh, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. And oh, don't touch mine. They love using that. And generally, they've done something to someone, and as soon as that person retaliates or does whatever they're going to do or not do or whatever, they want to throw up, oh, touch not mine anointed. But I want you to know on today that word applies to all of us. God is watching you. Touch not, Psalm 105:15, God says, do not touch my anointed ones and do my prophets no harm. And so he means that. And on today, God did have me touch on this subject because a lot of things are happening to a lot of people out here, saved and unsaved, but many of these people are saved. They are reaping the consequences of their actions because they have touched God's anointed ones and did his prophets harm. And or the anointed ones, the prophets, whether through their lying tongue, God says, many have spread lies. This person has offended you, and instead of you taking it to God, as it says in Romans 12:17, do not recompense evil for evil. Don't do evil for evil. Because many times it's our perception, many times this person did nothing to us, but we perceive them as slighting us or having done something evil to us. You take that to God. Romans 12:19 says that vengeance is mine. God, will repay. But what happens out here with saved and unsaved, because even if you're saved, you got so many religious zealots and they have a religion, but they really don't have a real relationship with God. They don't really fear God. And if you don't really fear God, then you're not going to fear the things of God, and you're going to have no fear of the people of God. And when God says fear, he doesn't mean you're afraid of, you're terrified, but a reverence and awe of, to be in awe of, to respect, a great respect. So if you don't have that for God, you're definitely not going to have it for his servants, for his prophets, for his anointed ones. But to your detriment, because God says many of the things that are happening to many of you now who I'm speaking to, that sickness in your body, that sickness in your son, those financial problems, the problems with your daughter, I hear God say, you are reaping the benefits of your actions. Galatians 6 and 7 demonstrates the law of reciprocity, reaping and sowing. The seeds you put down, they will come back up. And it may not necessarily happen to just you. You have done something when you come against God's anointed ones, come against God's prophets, that's going to affect generations. It may affect your daughter, your granddaughter. And the word today is God says you need to repent, and that means turn away. Not, oh God, forgive me, and keep doing what you're doing. And I hear God say, if you know this person personally, you need to go to him or her and make it right. If you stole from them, if you owe them money, if you promised them, God says to fulfill your vows. Did you promise them something that you did not do? All of these things God takes very seriously, the things that come out of your mouth. And as you say, I hear somebody, God sees my heart. Yes, he does. That is the good news and the bad news. You're not hidden from God. Are you praying? Have you been praying witchcraft prayers? Many people out here, they try to go and work curses, work witchcraft against different people. Try to go to the witch doctor, go to this person and that person. And I'm speaking of not just, again, unsaved people, but some of these people are preaching, prophetess, apostles, pastors. This is very real. I remember years ago being in the presence of a man of God, and he was friends with a pastor who actually was asking, how do I call down fire on this person? This person pissed me off. They did this to me. And how do I It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? And I hear God say God is laughing. He's laughing because he's seen what you've done and you think you've gotten away with. Many of these people, it's been 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago. And because nothing has happened to them they perceive to be bad, they think that they're still blessed and that they're in good in right standing with God, and God is okay with all this foolishness that they've been behind the scenes doing. But when God is on the scene, you're never behind the scenes. You're out in the open. And if it has not happened, it's about to happen. And that's why God says the word is don't think it's a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. It is because of what you've done to this person, these people. And many of you this is a lifestyle. Oh, they did this to me. Let me run back and try to do this, put this together, do voodoo, hoodoo, and let me try to say this prayer. And God is not answering those prayers for number one. It's the devil. Now you're in familiar spirits. Now you're on the side of the devil. I don't care what your title is or you call yourself. This is why you will never, ever, ever, ever see me write posts about certain leaders or saying people's names or other Christians or making videos about this person. And I know many people are out of order. There are many people who have done things and are doing things concerning me and my ministry. But like God is laughing, I laugh because I already know what it's going to be. God has shown me a history of what happens to people who come against me, my ministry, or anything like that. So sometimes when I actually get to saying stuff back to certain people, afterwards I always feel silly because I'm like, I already know God has that. I already know what he's going to do. It's this flesh. For many of you, it's this flesh that wants to be in control and think you're in control doing these things to God's people. But you're not in control. God is in control. All that hoodoo, voodoo, witchcraft prayers, the devil has some power, but God has all power. Whatever you've done thus far, God allowed you to do. And he's giving, and a lot of times, Bahaya, and a lot of times he's strengthening that person. Everything that he's allowing to come against that person has strengthened them, trained them. As David says in Psalm 18, he teaches my hands to war. They've become even more anointed through the persecution, the things that the devil has caused you to do. And the devil is laughing at you because he already knows what your end is going to be. So again, God says on today, repent. Make it right with that person. If you have no contact with that person, go before God, repent. It means stop. It means turn away from that behavior. Make it right. It's not a coincidence.